Lecture by CYC Chen Cynthia. You can pause anytime you need. 你可以随时按下暂停键。Before we start to color our watercolor, let's see our tools. You need to have the watercolor brush, like huge, big, medium, and small. And make sure the watercolor brush is very soft, okay? If you choose the watercolor brush like the grass, it is not the watercolor brush. It's just the painting brush for oil painting and the acrylic. So make sure your watercolor brush is soft. So that's for the watercolor, okay? With different sizes. All right, then we need to have the napkin or the towel to dry our water brush because we are going to use a cool water to mix the color and wash the brushes. All right, so make sure the water is no temperatures, has to be very, very cool. All right, then you need to have your watercolor. So you can have your watercolor like this tray. So sometimes it looks big, sometimes it looks small, or you will see your watercolor pen like the tube, like this. All right, so whatever it looks like a tray or like the tube, it's okay. And you need to have a tray for what? To mixing the color on top of the tray. All right, so that's it. Do you get every single thing on the screens? If you do, make sure they're all on the set. Then we can begin to color. All right, so you have your design right here and your watercolor tools on the side. Then we have the step to do the colors. All right, so first of all, we were going to apply a very, very light base color on your new creatures. Okay, so make sure it's watery so you can apply the second layer, third layer, even the fourth layer for the detail. All right, then we finish the base color, then we were working on the background. Then we have to wait it's dry, totally dry, so we can apply the second layer for the creatures. All right, so first of all, you have to decide where is the light coming from, because that is showing the shadow. Where's the shadow, right? So I use the, let me find something. All right, so I use the eraser. Pretend the eraser is the light source. I place the light source right here. So which means from this directions, the head right here has the brightest parts. Then the shadow will right under here. So the trunk on the left will has the brightest color, and the shadow will go on the right. All right, so on the body of the, so my body is the eagle, maybe you got the elephant. So because my light source is right here, so my body will look a little bit dark. All right, so let's start with the colors, the base color. So any color you want. You don't have to limit yourself using the elephant colors or the eagle color. You can create any color you like the hot pink, greens, blue, sky blue, or purple, your choice. All right, so since it's the base color, so you have to make sure it's very watery, it's very light. All right, then I'm gonna prepare one with the more water, so you have to go brighter, and the other one will look a little bit darker. So that's it. I use the watery colors to color on my elephant on the head. So here looks bright, light, very watery. Right? Remember I said on the trunk, the left side has to go brighter because there's where's the light. Okay, my eraser, pretend that's the light source. So on the left has to go slightly darker because this is just the base color. So you can see now here is brighter. Now I got the shadow on the right. Okay, where's on the face only, because I want to have the wings with different colors. So I'm not doing this right now. Okay, so you can simply see where it has the brightest color, where it has the darkest color. Highlights, shadow, the light source. Okay, so which means you have to think about the light source before you start. So your shadow is not going to be messed around because the shadow can change the place. You share one light source, So you limit yourself and keep the shadow on the same side. All right, then I finished the face. Now I want to have the wings. So the wing, same thing. So I want to have the chocolate brown for the wings. Then I'm gonna start with the brightest colors. Connect. So those are the highlights. Where is the brightest? Don't forget on the other side. Alright, when I finish, I have to prepare for the darker colors. Just slightly darker, not too dark. They are just the first layers. Alright, nothing go with the rich color. All the colors should look very watery. So when we apply the second color, second layers, we can see something. Alright, so see, I have the highlights. I have the shadow. Alright, then I'm gonna working on the body as well. A little bit darker because the head is totally covered the body, so you are not able to see the highlight on the body. The full body is covered by the head, so the shadow is right there. Even the tail, but when the tail comes out a little bit, you will see some highlights because they are out of the head. So I'm gonna have some highlights on the tail a little bit, but not the body because the body has to be covered. Alright, so that is my first layers, and I have to wait it a little bit dry. At the same time, I don't want to waste the time. I can prepare the background colors. Alright, the background color, I want to see some blending colors because I just want you to practice the colors mixing. So don't use a single color. You can make the color go darker or brighter. Depends what kind of feeling you want to show people. It's in the daytime or it looks like in the magic lens. So your color will look different for the background. Alright, so the background color could be any. And be careful, don't touch your creature, so you will have the white lights around to skip over. If you accidentally color inside the creatures a little bit, it's okay. Just try to think something else to cover it after when it is dry. You don't have to worry now. See, I have to be very careful because I have small detail in betweens. See, inside the nose, around the nose, not inside the nose, in between the feathers. Those are the background colors, so I can't ignore it. So I have to make sure I cover them. I don't color the branch yet. I want my sky color finish. A little bit green on the bottom. Looks like there's the forest. You don't have to do the same. Alright, again, you might have the different background, so you won't look like this. You won't have the same drawing as I do, so you don't have to copy any one of the idea. Alright, so now I think you have the basic idea how you're gonna do for the base color for your creatures and the background. Alright, so now you can start. So after you finish the base color, we have to wait a little bit until the base color are totally dry so we can move on to do the second layer. Alright, so let's see. My drawing are totally dry, so you won't see any flexion on the paper. So never use the hand to touch your paper if you are not sure about the paper is dry or not. So you can move the paper a little bit. So you see there has no flexion, so we think it's totally dry. Alright, so we can apply our second layer. So we will use the same color as the first color, the first layer. So let's see. I'm gonna use the gray color to do the face first. But first of all, I have to make the color go watery. The second layer has to go bright as well. Alright, so let's do some texture for that. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can see more clear what do I mean textures. Because they never apply the lotions, right? So they don't have the smooth skin. So you will see the texture as well. Okay, so first of all, let's see. So remember that's the eraser. Where's the highlights? Right here. So here is the brightest colors. Okay, then I made the color a little bit darker around. See, I only apply a little bit, every time just a little bit. And even darker. Alright, then even more. Around the eyes right here. Okay, so that's the face. You will see three. So let's see, there's the water reflection, so it's hard to see. How about now? Alright, so you see here's the highlights. I didn't color this part. Then I got the light colors around, the middle colors, then the dark colors. So how can you do that with the trunk? So the same thing. Alright, so we have three colors. Alright, so let's see. We brush, like the brush. See, you can see the highlight. We brush like the brush, but not the bottom because here should be darker. The trunk has the wrinkle, so I'm gonna add it, looks like the brush. Then the middle colors, color in between. Now it's more close to the right. So the left side has the brightest color. Now we color on the right. Make the color a little bit darker, then onto the bottom part. But see, my color is not rich. It's watery. Alright, it's watery. So you can see some texture, the wrinkle. Alright, highlights, shadow with the lines. Okay, so let me get the color even more. Okay, so I'm adding the color a little bit darker so you can see it's more clear. So that is our base color for the elephant, the face. And how do you do the feather of the wings? Alright, so I know most of you have been the wings, so I'm gonna use the wings to teach you how to do the feather, so you can apply the same technique into your drawing. Same thing, you can use different colors, you don't have to do the same. So you pick the color you like. It doesn't have to be gray color or the brown color, it could be any color you need, like the hot pink, purple, orange, yellow, green, sky blue, your choice. So you have the base color and you have the shadow, right? Highlight, shadow. Now you just simply add in the textures. Add in the line like we do the sketch, hatching. One side. But see, the color is pretty light. So I do this one more time. I add in the line, hatching. But I only do it on the left side. I keep the right clean. Okay, I didn't cross over. So one more time. I did the hatchings on one side of the feather. Okay, then I adding a little bit different color, like I used the brown, but now I adding the purple into the brown to make the brown looks a little bit grayish, looks slightly different. Then adding the hatching on the other side. So each feather you should have two hatching on different angle with two different colors. Alright, so let's see, it will look like this. Then when we finish, choose any one of the color. You can use the brown color or the gray color or the color you use. Then add in the line, add the middle. That's it. From the top, center, middle, okay, the middle. Alright, so that is the feather. Then when you finish the feather, now which means we finished the second layers. Alright, then we will move on to do the third layer to see more detail. Alright, now you can start to color your own creatures. Okay, so when you're done with the feather, so that's the basic shape. How about the triangle part? We have the very short feather right there, isn't it? So remember we did the topping before. We add in tap. So we tap, tap, tap like this. Add in the very short baby fur. Very short. Same thing, you don't make the color too rich. They're still watery. So you will see the texture, but you are not going to make them too clear. So they were just like the base color we have. Alright, so I tap in it. That's it. So you're gonna do the same thing. If you have the bird body, you will have the same thing. So we tap in. It's not clear, but you can see something that's good enough. See, we tap in and make sure they are pretty close to each other. We just want to see some textures. Like this. Very short, and they are not too clear, but you can see something. All right, so don't make the color too rich. We don't want the color looks too strong. All right, so when you're done the feather, when you're done the wings, then the body, don't forget the tail. The tail will look like the same. They will doing the same thing like the feather. All right, and how about the bone structure? You can trace it with the color to make the color even more clear, or add in the shadow right under. Same, don't apply the color too rich, so I can separate the top and the bottom, right? Because I just adding a slightly dark color on top, so it will look different. And I want to connect the heads with the ear, so I'm adding some feather on the heads as well to make them look like they're joined together. They're not just like the sticker to stick on the body. All right. Okay, so when you're done, now I want you to use the same color as you color for the nose. Okay, then you're going to, if you have the trunk, you're gonna add in the wrinkle. So use the brush. Some line is thick, some line is short. Okay, which means they have to look random. Again, don't make the color too rich, still watery. See, you can see something there, but you won't feel the color looks so strong because they are still watery. All right, and remember we have something around the eye, looks like the wrinkles, like the real elephants or the eagle. They always have something like around. I just make the shadow looks darker so I can separate the front and the back, just like we did the sketch. Okay, so when the third layer is dry, now I'm going to create a rich colors. Now finally we start with something rich. Okay, so the rich color is for the eye and the wrinkles. Okay, so I'm gonna color the eye. If you color the eye and the eye is pretty small, you don't have to worry about the dark, medium, light. Just keep the color clean. All right, but here has something small. We want the eye look shiny, so which means I have to leave a white spot. Looks like this, very small, a very small white spot. Okay, so it won't look like the elephant has no life. Okay, if you it's hard for you to do dark, medium, and light watercolor blending, you don't have to worry about that. So that's, see, I have a very small white spot inside my small eye. Okay, then I have the same thing, not the same thing, I have the same color to make this wrinkle looks a little bit darker, but just very small, like the dash line. But I only do it on the left, on the right the most. The right can have something, but not too much. Very thin and light. Okay, and you can have some wrinkles, textures on the face, but your choice. As I mentioned, they don't have the lotion on the face, so the skin should be a little bit rough. Right? Add some texture, but feel free, if you think that's a little bit too hard for you, you don't have to do it. But feel free to challenge yourself. But make sure you don't make the color too rich or too dark at the first time. All right, then I'm gonna teach you how to do the cross. All right. So same thing, you have to color the base color, so whatever color you want. All right, the base colors. So we will color the cross just like the trunk. We have the base color, then adding some shadows. Use the shadow color to add in the lines. This is a very neat work, so you have to make sure you're using the right brush. Okay, so when do you color the trunk? When the feather and the feet are totally dry, so you can go to color the background. All right, and the rest of them you can just simply color in like dark, medium, light, like this. See, I only color, I have most of the color white, but not too white. I'm adding some shadows right there. Okay, so when you finish, if you think all the detail is disappear and you want to make the color more clear, you can add in the 4 layers. Now we only do 3. All right, the base color, the middle color, and the third colors. But if you think tracing can make your drawing better, yeah, I would say, okay, sure, you can go to adding the tracing outline. Okay, but otherwise, I want you to give yourself a chance to do it without any tracing. All right, so now you can begin to continue to do your own creatures. Alright, so when you're done with the drawing, just find a nice place to sign the name on, so it will look like the professional one. Don't just sign the way that it doesn't fit, okay? So signing the name is also important because you have to find the right place to balance your joints, not just anywhere that you want. Alright? Okay? When you complete your drawing, sign the name and write down the date. 完成画作之后，签下你的名字，更写上日期。Don't forget to take a photo of your drawing and send it to us. 不要忘记帮你的作品拍上照片寄给我们哦。And don't forget to clean out the table before you go. 不要忘记清洁你的桌子哦。Bye bye, see you next time.